Morena, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us for the webinar series today. My name is Rhonda and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. There is one thing in life that we can count on, and that is change. The weather is changing and it's getting colder. The cicadas outside my window are not quite as loud as they were last week. 2 years ago, it was predicted that video content and marketing would become vital to good online marketing. With all the changes that have happened in the business world and economy in the last 12 months, video and good video is even more critical than predicted. And that is why we're having today's and next week's webinars. Today, our topic is quality over quantity and cinematography tips. And I'm going to be joined today by Jara Borman and our guest expert, Liam Vandenberg. Jara is an agency director here at Zeld. He has been a leader in the media and digital industry for many years, so has a wealth of knowledge and experience to share. And Liam's cinematography is just stunning. He's a young, talented, and very passionate about what he does. He's done work for a lot of leading brands such as Coca-Cola, Hallensteins Farmers, Spates, just to name a few. Liam is based in Tauranga, so we are lucky that Liam and Jara are physically together to present today. Just some housekeeping before I hand over to them. I'll just get to the right screen. So if you've not joined us before, you'll see that there's a toolbar at the bottom of the screen where you've got some options. If you're not hearing me at the moment, then this left-hand side has some audio settings on so that you can adjust so that you can hear me. If you've got questions, it's great if you've got questions. We really welcome them at any time. So any time through the session, as Jara and Liam are talking, please feel free to place questions. I'll try and ask them at the time. If not, we'll save them for the end. But please ask them there, and you can put them on the chat there or the Q&A section. The raise the hand means you want to come on live. So if you're brave, you're welcome to do that. But yeah, the chat area or the Q&A section is probably the best place. And if you've missed something, don't worry. We are recording today's session and we'll be posting it out to you through your email address and also onto our webinar library on our website as well. So, time to hand over to you, Jara and Liam.
Good morning, Rhonda. Thanks for that lovely introduction and welcome, Liam. It's really,
how's it going?
Really nice to have you. Good, thank you. So yeah, it's awesome that you're based here in Tauranga and doing so well around the country with your cinematography. And a real pleasure to have you here today to have a chat. So I understand you've been, well, obviously a bit of restrictions lately with everything we've had through to COVID, but you do a lot of travel, right? So you're
Yeah. So I have been traveling up and down the country at the moment because of COVID. Obviously, I had trips to go overseas, but obviously they got cancelled. Yep. So I'm staying with them in my own country, but that doesn't stop me from doing what I do. So at the moment, I have been going down south and shooting a bit, and I'll be able to show you guys some of what I've been up to as well. Yeah, some of the footage you've got from down South Island looks absolutely amazing. Cheers, man. Thank you. I'm looking forward to showing it off. Yeah. So the first section we're going to go through is just about, you mentioned more about positioning and brand, and so yeah. How do you kind of approach that? Like, how do you start that process, that creative process? As in trying to get them to you. Yeah, or just no, as in like, so someone comes to you, they've got a brand, they need it presented within a video context. Yeah. How do you get started? Basically, we figure out what the brand is about, and then we break it down in steps, and then cipher out a way to basically create the video that reflects them best that I can. Yeah. So we'll storyboard it and script, and then basically come up with an idea, and then it gets approved by the marketing manager, and we go ahead and tackle it, and we'll go and find a nice place to film it in, I guess, and some talent, and then go from there. That's great. So if someone was just starting out and wanting to get a little bit of footage or a little bit of video work done for their business, then the idea really just to, as you say, storyboard it, like get each kind of shot all constructed and have a really good plan, and
then go out and like get the footage to meet it.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
That's the one.
And so that's the kind of approach you would have taken for these videos that we're going to have a little bit of a look
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So maybe just tell us a little bit about the first one that we're going to show, which is this one here. Is there anything you wanted to say in terms of an introduction?
Yeah, so this is actually more or less a personal project. The reason why I do these kind of films is because I'm passionate about creating them, but not only that, I like to travel and get out in the outdoors and just take in the fresh air, you know. But this basically reflects kind of mostly my style, moody and kind of emotional kind of feelings towards the nature, I guess. And this is pretty much the type of client I want to attract, and these are the videos I express myself through to attract the people I want to film for.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's got dual purpose work for the brand.
Yeah,
In terms
exactly.
of style and okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's have a look.
Can't say I blame you. Trying to come close to, but all you can do.
So that was stunning, mate. So you would have, obviously it looks like you travelled quite a long way out into the South Island to get some of that footage. That a couple of day trip? Or?
They're definitely not small trips. We were gone. That would probably actually be 2 months.
Really?
So I went back and filmed another whole heap of stuff. The first time I went over was a scouting mission to figure out what each place was like. And then after that, I marked a heap of locations on my map so I could go and tackle them later on in the future.
Okay, awesome.
But yeah, some of the places there were also during commercials as well as personal projects. So some of the footage in there is from Berk actually. The big open shot of the hut on the hill, that was that was really cool. I loved that trip.
So I mean, I noticed quite a lot of the footage there must be done with drones. Is that right? So it must open up a whole new dimension to the work that you do.
Yeah, no, definitely. Having drone and also being qualified to fly commercially helps a lot. That definitely gives you a lot more opportunity with commercial work. Rather than just a camera. Having the combo helps for brands because I can shoot photo, video, and drone, and it just all combines combines together to make like a nice package for for people to have.
Cool. The other thing I noticed when watching it is this seems to switch. You like got these kind of more intimate moments with people, and just things like the handing a cup of tea or putting the log on the fire, and then the big epic shots as well. That seems quite intentional to.
No, it is. So I pick specific songs. I spend a lot of time looking for music actually, because it definitely helps. I guess they call it the potential motion of music, sound design, and video. So the subtle moments are when the dips and the quiet moments happen, and the big epic moments with the epic high sound points are where you put the larger scenes.
Okay.
And then it literally creates a feeling in yourself, and that's what people can relate to.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's really combining the audio and the video to create the atmosphere.
Yeah. It's not one thing. There's multiple things to take into consideration.
Cool. Oh, that's really cool. I wasn't aware of that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so we've got another video here. You want to show us through? What have we got next? So I'll get that queued up if you want to just let us know what it is that we're. I think it's auto playing from the last one. Let's get out of that.
Showreel, I think it was.
This one here?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, cool. And so what have we got here?
Holding your breath still.
Here we go.
You jump the line. We'll just sit and wait till you see me fly. You know they'll never catch me for it. See me fly. The way I put my finger on it. See me fly. You got it. Then try to tell me you got the wrong guy. See me fly. You'll never catch me for it. See me fly. The way I put my finger on it. See me fly. You got it. Then try to tell me you got the wrong guy. Look at them now, all of the noise they make. Counting the cards to one. Queen of hearts never breaks. Falling asleep, here might just take a while. Trying not to grind your teeth. Dreaming to touch my style. Well, can't say I blame you. Trying to come close to, but all you can do.
Cool, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Cheers.
So, and so once again, there's a couple of big brands I noticed popping out there as well. These are people you've worked with over the last little while.
That's the one. So this video is basically like a collective collateral of all the brands that I've worked for throughout the last, it's not even a year and a half, I would say. Things moved pretty quickly for me. I left school pretty early and then jumped into this and met the right people, I guess, and pretty much traveled the world for a good solid year. And got a chance to shoot for all these brands. In the meanwhile, I meet some pretty awesome people too on the way. And this is a reflection of that, obviously.
Yeah, that's cool. What an exciting journey.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So in terms of so once again, if we bring it back to just the process that you go through here, I noticed that it seems pretty rare that the camera's still, it's even if it's obviously with the drone moving around, but even just the closer in shots where you're probably holding the camera, even then there's still some movement and action. Does that help make things feel a little bit more dynamic?
What's the word for it? I guess, having the subtle motion in each clip definitely gives a constant sense of movement. If things are static, then objects normally feel more or less isolated and trapped. But if things are moving, then there's always a constant flow in the video.
Right. Okay.
So I try and match frames or other clips with one another, so the video keeps rolling. It doesn't dissect from one another.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like putting a horror moment with a happy moment in a film and putting them next together. That doesn't work. Right. It'd have to be a horror with a horror for it to be the same kind of mood and motion. Yeah.
Because that was kind of too jarring, right? Not people out of that.
Yeah.
Being absorbed in the
video. It takes away their feeling.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah. And so we've got one more video that we wanted to show through. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what have we got next here, mate?
I think it was the
edges of the image are blurry, and the inside of the image is crisp and sharp.
phone demo.
Yeah. That's not quite what we wanted. So this one's the Queenstown one. Oh, yeah. So there's some pretty amazing drone footage in this, isn't there? Cool. We'll let it
Now
play.
this is my favorite part of our backyard. The ice-capped mountains of Queenstown, soaring through high winds and chills of what I like to call an oasis. Seeing as we can all call New Zealand our home, I think we should take full advantage of our surroundings. Take a leap of faith into endless beauty of our unique home. Myself and the team at Hallenstein Brothers had some spare time on our hands, so we decided to head out to the mountains and take the scenic route. Distant mountains with steady cascades of snow all throughout the landscape. Beautiful, isn't it? After our scenic landing, we followed the headwind out of the mountains and back to safety. I mean, the next place we could go is McDonald's, but who knows where the adventure will go. You might even end up in a badass cabin with a few mates in the middle of the woods. This isn't even slightly creepy, right? But hey, let's be honest. This world we live in is all about doing things you'll bring to the future generations and tell them stories of how you lived your life. This is totally something we should celebrate more often. So sit back, finish that coffee, but also make the day last. And head out on a trip and see where those dusty roads will take you. Now this place was a treat. I had no idea what we had installed for Wanaka. It turned out that there was a kick-ass skate park with heaps of epic angles to shoot from.
Well, that's okay. All I wanna do is make the best of my whole day. Thank the Lord up above, get the cream on the side, make you laugh to no end. That's the stuff that I love, la da da da.
After a long day of shooting and filming, the team headed over to the burger shop for some fresh fries to amp up the energy spent at the skate park.
If you wanna, hey, tell me what you wanna do.
We finished the day with fire embers by our feet and explored what we had embraced over the last few days. This adventure was definitely a killer trip, and I can't wait to show you what happens on the next.
Well, can't say I blame you. Trying to come close to, but all you can do.
Cool. So it looks like you really put the drone through its paces on that one.
Yeah, so that was, I actually hired people to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have got my own SPV, which is what that was.
Mhm.
But quite often I have to film and direct. So most of the time I'll be on the camera and I'll throw my drone up occasionally. But yeah, there's a lot of time involvement in flying those. It takes about 6 months before you can get steady on flying one. Yeah, so it's a lot of time and consideration, and you lose them often.
Right.
For example, if you're flying overseas, you can lose visuals because you fly them through goggles.
Yep.
And the people that I hire to film them, they've lost 2 or 3. So it's definitely an expensive hobby, but it pays off, as you can see in the footage. It's pretty cool to see, almost Star Wars like, I guess.
Yeah, that one where they flies over the cliff past them and drops
Yeah.
away. My first thought was like, oh my gosh, that drone's in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, they're not in trouble, but it's putting it through its face, maybe risking it a little bit as well.
Definitely.
Shot, So would you find you've got yourself into some interesting positions over the years, like going for that shot, really pushing things and kind of going, well, that's maybe pushing it a bit hard.
No, definitely. Drones are definitely something that you crash often. But it is what it is. Most of the time you can retrieve them and they're all good, and so you just got to be careful, I guess.
Fair enough. So we'll open up to questions in just a few seconds, but I had one other one. So you talk about the importance of combining the shot and the music. Does the music come afterwards? Like you talked about storyboarding and creating the shots. Like at what point does the music for you come into the creative process?
So what I'll normally do is I'll build like a small batch edit of footage. So only say probably the first 20 seconds, and get a feel for what my footage looks like together. And then I'll go through music. I normally use Music Bed because it's more or less not as tangy as what other people use. Normally people will grab stuff off Artlist and it's cheap and easy, so people go for it. But Music Bed gives me the option to have like professional music that's different and isn't the same as all those other videos that are out there. So I'll spend a good 2 hours looking for music until I find the right track to underlay, and I'll test it out and play it out loud and see what it looks like.
Awesome. And so that's something people do need to be really careful of if they're going to look to put music into their videos, right? About the license rights, and so they need to go to a library like what you're describing to get something that doesn't get your video stripped off YouTube because of some top 40 tracks, right?
That's the one.
Okay. And so did you say SoundBed was the
So there's a few options: Music Bed, Artlist, and then a variety of others, but they're kind of standard right now.
Wow, that's great. Cool. So back to you, Rhonda. We've got you on mute. Sorry. Cool.
There we go. I loved the imagery there. I guess from a lot of our clients, they don't have the budgets of Hallensteins, So how can a small to medium-sized business create video without that kind of budget? Because, I mean, obviously you've got to be in locations for some of that stunning stuff. But, let's say we have a local, local store there in Tauranga, and maybe a shoe person, a shoe shop. How can they get some good videography there for their online marketing, but at a lower cost?
Well, I guess we could work out some kind of deal with those kind of people, because I do understand, like, you've got to start somewhere, and not everyone does have those kind of budgets. So I do work with smaller brands and startup brands, and I do give them specific rates for what they need. So there is that. They do get different pricing, but it also entails a different handover as well. And then that kind of changes the final result of what they get. But there's definitely opportunity and like optimism towards that kind of situation. So
I guess the message is not to just think you can't afford it, right? To actually reach out. You never know.
Exactly. I get this all the time from people, and I do little smaller jobs for smaller brands consistently. It keeps me afloat too. Like, I've got to pay my taxes, so.
And can you reuse some video or stuff that you might have done just generally for someone? So like they're not paying for you to go to Queenstown, but you might have picked up some video that you could reuse or something like that.
So most of the videos I actually just showed you were from brand work and my own personal project that I used from other stuff and put it into the same video. So you're definitely right. I have done that.
Brilliant. I've got a question here. Sorry, Jared.
So if somebody does, a smaller business or medium business does get some video work done, they can kind of create like a brand story but it would be relatively evergreen, right? So if they created something and put a little bit of work into getting it right, it's something they could use for a number of years.
Exactly. If they did the hard work, which is mostly the planning, this would also cut down costs too, because I wouldn't have to spend hours figuring out what they need.
Mhm.
I mean, I would put my last thoughts in and tell them which way is
Mhm.
the best way to go. But as long as they allow a list, and I'll refine it and basically give them what they would need in the end, which is most likely a smaller video, like a 30-second say video that reflects their brand as a whole.
Mhm.
And then they can use it for their website banner, for their YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, and run it through all of them, and then spend their extra money that they have lying around, whatever that may be, on marketing it through Facebook or Instagram, etc., which I find to be very useful. You'd probably know how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually, but we had your Instagram. You wanted to, did something
Yeah.
you wanted to show us on that as well?
Yeah, we
Sorry,
can-
Rhonda, I realised there was another thing that we were going to show as well.
Sure. We can come back to questions in a minute.
Yeah, I just thought it would be good because we did organise bringing that up. So
Yourself, drop
thank you. We just cut the videos off, and so we've got your Instagram here. Is there anything you wanted to kind of show us through? Because you use this to promote a lot of your videos, and this is how you get that engagement.
Yeah,
from your
so
customers, right?
yeah, that's the one. So my Instagram is pretty much expression of my kind of work. I shoot for photo and video, so it's a bit of a mix.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to show you guys basically how I use it. I use it to express everything in a way that it kind of all interlinks. So my overall Instagram kind of all works together as one. For example, photos facing out and centralized. So when people look at it, it kind of just all flows into one. And same with the color palette as well. So there's greens and muted tones and things like that. But the other thing is, for social media wise, it's honestly the best place to interact with your clients. I talk to people through Instagram every other day, and just keeping up to date with your clients and like giving them a nudge and saying, hey, what's up, is just honestly the best way to keep them coming back to you as well. And networking too. So like I follow photographers and other videographers in the same kind of group, and we always keep in contact, and the work kind of feeds around in 360, keeping it that way. But yeah, I always try and talk to people as much as possible through here, because it just, it keeps everything up and running. But yeah, I also don't post as much as what some people would say on YouTube, which is frequently. I post every 2 to 3 months and make sure it's something that's quality over quantity, because just posting a whole heap of garbage, people aren't going to pay attention to. They only look at stuff that they're like truly interested in or inspired by. So yeah, I just slow down on the posting too, and just kind of spend more time talking to people.
Right. Yeah, you can see the quality of each post.
Yeah,
really,
so if you
really
just
nice.
hover over the last South Island video, left, top right, see how many comments it got? 187. And about 60 people shared it on their stories. Say if each person had 4,000 followers, and that's 60 people, what's that? That's a good 100, is it 100,000?
Yes.
Well, yeah. So it definitely spreads. And on that day, I probably got maybe 5 or 6 jobs come through just from the spreading of that video.
Wow, cool. That's fantastic. That's really, really good example of how to, once you've got the content, where to use it, how to post it, distribute it. But I really like that concept, because it runs counter to a lot of what people hear at the moment. Just quality, content as active as possible.
It's dire opposite. So if you go and look at those people who do that, they tend to have 0 comments. Like there'll be none. And that's because no one's interacting with it. They don't care what they're seeing. And Instagram sees that too. The algorithm on it is really intelligent. So if they see that you're just posting stuff quickly and no one's even looking at it, it's not going to be pushed up the top of the table on Instagram. If it's something quality, Instagram will look at it and analyze it. And if it does well in the first 30 minutes, it'll put yours at the top, and yours will rank first and keep going at the top of the page, so more people will see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that quality and engagement gets you longer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. So, thank you.
I've noticed that too with Instagram, that it's become more important for business owners because of the way it promotes really beautiful imagery and videos as well. So you've got to have that content, but like you're saying, Liam, it's got to be quality content as well. Yeah, I've got a question here from Rosalinda. She says, do you have to get people in videos to sign off to use their images in your videos?
Yeah, well, most of the people that I have shot tend to be already signed up with a contract from model agencies, etc. But other times I'll be using my friends, and I just keep that as a friends agreement. But we don't always keep it commercially like kind of signed off.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you have standard forms, or you kind of need a lawyer to sort that out?
Nah, because normally the way it works is I contract back to agencies, and the agencies sort out all the nitty-gritty stuff, and I just have to be ready for the day on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. There's a personal question, Liam, and
Yeah.
it's not if you're single. That's
Go
not the
ahead.
question. There's just a question here. Just thinking of my 16-year-old son in his final year of school, where does someone like him learn and train to do what you do?
Okay, so I was probably his age at school as well. I'm not going to say leave school, but I did. Depends what I like. Yeah, I kind of had a decision to make when I was younger, and it was either to go all in or just go to uni and spend the next 5 years doing the same as what everyone else did. And I was like, I wanted to figure out what would actually make me happy, and it was filming and taking photos. So I went all in, and yeah, the only way I found out to get good at what I was doing now, what I'm doing now, is through YouTube. So YouTube's the key. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of videos of tutorials, and you can rewatch them over and over and over again, so you can just get it stuck in your mind. Whereas a teacher will tell you once, and then he's got to focus on 30 students. How are you supposed to like get it refreshed in your mind consistently? So I find YouTube to be like a thorough teacher in other terms.
It's funny you say that, Liam. I was at Spotlight. I think we were in level 2 at the time, and they had cancelled this patchwork demonstration, and this lady came in complaining because she'd wanted to learn patchwork, and the person said actually that she usually demonstrates them, but were just low on staff, so she couldn't actually do the class, but she taught herself on YouTube, you know, and she was the one going to be demonstrating the classes, but she taught herself on YouTube. And I think you're right. I go to how-to things, you know, just search in there, how do I do this, and you get a whole range. You kind of pick your favorite ones that you follow and go back and really learn from, right?
And I think you can, like, honestly, these days you can start with your phone. So if you're worried about money, I started on my phone too. And honestly, it's, you're pretty good with just that to start off with. And then maybe once you work a few days in Pack and Save or wherever that may be, then you can save up and buy yourself a camera. But yeah, it's definitely possible, in any way possible with whatever money you've kind of got.
Yeah. So just thinking about that, if you were starting out, what sort of, you know, and even for the medium-sized business, you know, that was wanting to actually give a go at creating some content themselves, what sort of gear would you recommend they kind of invest in?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, cameras aren't the cheapest thing, but the thing is that the quality of work that people want now is going up and up. Like the standard now is pretty much 4K for everything, because people want it to fit on their stories on Instagram and Facebook. And also the pixel, like the definition of the actual video is just a lot better. Whereas like 3 years ago, it was 1080p. That was like the standard. So now, let's say you wanted a 4K camera, you'd probably need to spend about $2,500 just for the camera. and then you'd spend another 1,000 on the body, and then you'd need a computer to edit it on. So you'd probably need to spend at the least maybe another 1,800. So it's a pretty solid package.
So getting someone to do some small bits for you is probably not a bad economic decision, right?
No.
If you've got to invest in a bit of gear.
Exactly. But the thing is, like, once you've got it, and you can consistently create content that you can push out and you get more work. So it pays for it in itself. I've had my own camera for 5 years now. And I'm not going to say how much I earn through it, but I'm going to say that I've doubled my money each year.
Yeah, brilliant. There's a message here from Josephine. She says, "Hey Liam, love your work. What are your main challenges you've faced with your work? For example, were there times where you and the client clashed over the creative direction of your projects, or you had to do a complete 180? Or do the clients hand over complete creative freedom to you?"
That's a good question. Depends on who's running it. So sometimes I won't even get a chance to edit the video. The agency will have someone in-house that edits it. So that cuts me out of the equation. But other times I'll get full creative control over it, and I can do whatever I want. But in my contracts that I send over, I'll have a certain amount of amendments and changes. So they'll get one to two email list of changes per video handover. So that may take me another day or so to fix up. But as long as there's not too many alterations that you allow them, then it's going to give you more time to have free time to work on other stuff and not spend it fixing videos consistently. But yeah, it's basically you've got to nail it down to a contract, because then they can't come back to you. They'll sign something that they have to oblige to.
Awesome, thank you. I know there are stock libraries for photography, which help small businesses leverage off really good imagery. But are there stock libraries for video? There
is, yeah. So there's probably more video stock libraries, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the only problem is they're really expensive. Most clips can be anywhere from like $150 to $300 New Zealand for a 4K clip. So in the end, you're almost better to hire someone to film a video if you want to go that way.
All right.
Yeah,
all right, that's interesting.
You need 10 clips to build a whole video that's like $1,500 to $2,000. You're better off to hire someone to go film your actual business and have that video for yourself.
Yeah.
And then you're not using other footage that someone else has already used in other videos everywhere else too, which is a bonus.
Yeah, true. That's a good tip. I didn't realize that kind of cost comparison.
Yeah. And not only that, like 9 times out of 10, most videographers or cinematographers, they do take photos as well. So they can shoot photos for you, do audio, video, drone, like you've got the whole arsenal. So you're going to get a massive amount of content that will last you for the next 2 years, pretty much.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point. So if you did have a session and you kind of storyboarded it out, or gone through, you'd still get all the raw clips.
Exactly.
Right? So you'd have like a library of content that you could use to assemble other things in the future.
Yeah. So you can make not just your one little video, you can have like 12 other little offcuts that you can run and promote through anything. Yeah.
And kind of bite them down into Facebook advertising or whatever it might be.
That's the one. And even with the photos, I don't know if the brand really wanted a billboard, they could just blow it up and chuck it on a billboard somewhere. You've got like 50 to 100 odd photos to pick from. Not bad.
Brilliant.
In that sort of definition, you can almost take this one shot, right? And
I was thinking too that obviously with this whole COVID thing, we've gotten a really big push to buy local, which, you know, totally support and think is amazing that we're supporting each other as Kiwis. But I guess your imagery then needs to be very locally focused rather than stock, or
Yeah.
And I think it's
yeah.
sometimes very subtle, right? But it makes a big difference.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually been filming for a few local brands recently. I did a video with Bay Plenty Tourism, and then also what's it called? Bay Plenty Film as well, just recently. So yeah, I'm working with a few people around here at the moment, and yeah, you could probably use a lot of that footage for stock stuff as well, to be honest.
Yeah. But I know I run a charity in my spare time, and we were looking at stock imagery, and you could definitely tell the difference between a lot of the stock guys and then, kind of what you would expect a New Zealand office meeting might look like. Even that sort of thing, and even if it's just a building without any kind of greenery or outside thing, you kind of get this flavor, right, for Kiwis.
Yeah, because a lot of the time people who, like, where you get the stock footage from, people actually specifically set up a scene and film it for stock because they know that that piece of stock footage will sell well. So they'll light it really bright, nice high key lighting with like perfect roll off, and then like the perfect person too. And like that's not normally the case in like the real world. It's like kind of like the lighting we're in now, but you'd spice it up a little bit more.
Yeah, totally. I've got another question here. We tend to take use of music for granted, but could you give us tips for best sources of free music?
Free music, okay. There actually isn't many options for that. YouTube's kind of the only one. They offer a library of songs that are free for use on anything. But yeah, they're they're not the best songs, but they're free. So hey, most of the time, yeah, if you take a song from a popular artist that is theft, you are stealing, and it's not the nicest thing. It's like, I don't know, it's like taking a plumber's tools from him basically and just being like, sorry, I just wanted to use it for myself, kind of thing.
So other than free, then you can go to these libraries, right? I think you mentioned one earlier.
Yeah,
where
so
there's just a royalty. Yeah.
Artlist is the cheapest, and that's $200 a year. So that's not too bad. It's feasible. And you can have unlimited use anywhere for as many songs as you want. And their stuff's all right. I still use their music. And then the higher tier is MusicBed, and I think that's $1,700 a year. So it's a step up, but yeah, you can see the change in quality of music.
So if I was hiring someone like yourself, would I expect you to pay those licenses and source the music?
Yeah. So in my contract, it basically states that you have access to my full library of MusicBed and Artlist, because I've got memberships with both. So yeah, there's also that.
Brilliant. That's about all my questions. I hand it back to you,
Cool.
Jared. You got any other questions?
No, I think that was awesome.
Yeah, that was
so
awesome.
Great to get to know what you do, and yeah, I think there might be a few people there that have mentioned in the chat there that like the details, just to have a chat about some local projects as well. So yeah,
it was awesome talking to you guys.
Yeah, it's been lovely. I'll just do a bit of a wrap up. I'll just share my screen there. So what we know is that cinematography and videography are vital elements to any good online marketing. There is an opportunity to leverage off of technology to create good quality content to help promote and position your business. Our prediction is that businesses who invest in good cinematography and videography content into their marketing will have a better return on investment for their marketing. Our recommendation is to include this in your budgets and marketing. Look at investing in economic tools to help you produce good content. Zealed has been a leader and has helped over 15,000 businesses transform digitally over the last 20 years. And we provide a free strategy or website audit session with our team of experienced digital business strategists. Zealed launched our Get E-commerce movement last year as we headed into COVID to help Kiwi businesses get online as soon as possible. So you can go to zealed.com for more details on how to get a free e-commerce website solution. For our next webinar, it will be on March 24th at 10 a.m. That's how to create a Facebook video ad in under 30 minutes. And this will be a live demonstration on how to create high impact Facebook video ads from scratch using the powerful but low cost video editor called InVideo. We have a library of videos all from our webinars that can be a really great help. So please head there on zeal.com and look for our webinar section and feel free to look through all the helpful tips there. I just really wanted to say a really big thanks to you, Liam. I've learned a lot and I just love your talent and your passion for what you do, and hope to work with you more in the future.
Cheers, thank you.
And thank you too, Jara, for helping out there today. We appreciate your insights as well. I wish you all a happy week and hope to see you in a fortnight's time for our next webinar on March 24th. Thank you. Bye.
Cheers, see you later.